Presiding Officer, I congratulate Alisdair Allan on bringing this debate to the Scottish Parliament, and I am happy to make some brief remarks in support of his motion, recognising the work of the Great Bernera Community Development Trust towards a crofting community buyout and the development of their island. The Land Reform and Community Empowerment Act seeks to ensure that landowners uphold their responsibilities and to provide a legal basis for communities to negotiate a purchase of the land. Because, as Alisdair Allan said in opening the debate, an absentee landlord might legally own and control the land, or in this case the island, the question remains though, morally should they? And whilst we might say that morally and culturally the land already belongs to the people there, it is the case that, particularly when we look at the experience of the citizens of Bernera, that in order to develop and thrive, legal ownership could be seen as crucial. I have to say it's hugely regrettable that the lack of cooperation from the absentee landlord has delayed and halted progress in that regard. And I'm sorry that the legislation in place to deal with that, namely the Land Reform and Community Empowerment Act, has not delivered for that particular community yet. I have to say as well, reports of the highly unusual demands for payments from local crofters from an absentee landlord are frankly alarming. The community themselves know what's required to sustain the population there. The loss of the school, care home and shop, combined with rising house prices and the difficulties in developing, contribute to a challenging picture for the community. And this is not just a matter for the Highlands or indeed rural Scotland, but of concern to urban communities too. The fact that MSPs will contribute from around the country this evening reflects just how important the topic of who owns our land and assets and what they're used for is. Land reform is defined as changes to land ownership and land use in the public interest. The issue of land ownership in Scotland can be a contentious one. It is of concern to many of us that large swathes of our country are being held by only a handful of private and, in many cases, non-resident landowners. As the Centre for Local Economic Strategy notes, land ownership matters because it's an expression of economic and political power. The concentration of rural land ownership in the hands of only a few people is a structural problem, particularly when it results in land use that extracts wealth from local communities to their detriment and that of the wider public interest. The situation in Bernera highlights this. In closing, I wish them every success in their endeavours. I believe ownership of the land being with the folk who live there will help redirect wealth back into the local economy and place control and benefits into the hands of the local people, something which is right and just. Presiding Officer.
Thank you very much indeed, Ms Maguire.